The implications of Mortal Kombat 12's teaser are deeper than you think. Now, we finally had our first brief look at what Mortal Kombat 12 could have in store, with a recent teaser showing that the Sands of Time may return. Here's why their involvement in the plot could be what the series need to do a quick and mandatory course correct. Let me take you all the way back over a decade to the release of Mortal Kombat in 2011. Now, that was the first NetherRealm Studios game, which rose from the ashes of Midway Games, took things back to the basics with a franchise that had run wildly out of control for nearly a damn decade at that point. For as much as I love Mortal Kombat, some of these mid-era games were seriously rough. Even Mortal Kombat Armageddon, that game had everything. It included every playable character to date and boasted the biggest story stakes seen yet. It was massive, and guess what? It was a massive disappointment. Now, whether it was the switch to the 3D era, or maybe it was the sloppy Mortal Kombat 4 Palanon that happened after that. Maybe it was the Palanon of gimmicks from like Chess Kombat, Mortal Kombat, or a progressively worsening Konquest mode, because Konquest mode and Armageddon was trash. It definitely was trash. The franchise has seriously lost its way. That's why Mortal Kombat, the 2011 reboot video game, felt so fresh. The 2D perspective returned, and many of the series' sins were washed away. From the lore that the majority of us could not keep up with anymore, to the bloated and unnecessary gameplay additions, that title brought things back to the basics at a time where it was needed the most, and it needs to happen again with Mortal Kombat 12. Now listen, I'll be the first person to tell you, say what you will about the bold steps taken with Mortal Kombat X, whether it's the new combat kids such as Jackie, Cassie, and Takeda, the offspring of Jaxi. I said the offspring of Jaxi. The offspring of Jax, Johnny Cage, and Kenshi, respectfully, right? At least the middle part of the trilogy attempted to move things forward. In my opinion, that did not work. When I loaded up Mortal Kombat X for the first time, I felt lost. There were so many new characters, I didn't know who to pick, so I immediately went to people like Scorpion, Sub-Zero. Those were my go-to people. I felt like I was disconnected with the series. And don't get me wrong, X was a really good game. Now, it's in stark contrast to Mortal Kombat 11 and its narrative, which has fallen victim to pitfalls typical to time travel plots. I hate those. Long dead villains appear out of thin air, while the consequences of the character's actions are shrugged off without so much as a care. A tangible sense of narrative progress was sacrificed to appease a vocal minority of fans who were unhappy with the direction that the reboot's sequel took. And it shows. It shows badly. So I just wanted to bring all of this to your attention because Mortal Kombat 12 needs to wipe the slate clean. The end of the Mortal Kombat 11, which features the time manipulating Titans and mother to the series antagonist we all know as Shinnok, seemingly defeated for good alongside newcomer Cetrion, which is his sister and, Kronika's daughter. Her hourglass, a device that literally weaves and alters the fabric of time, is destroyed and taking her out with it, setting the stage for a fresh start from the storied characters that we've known and loved for damn near 30 years, or at 30 years at this point. Now, let me take a second to breathe, because this is a lot. The Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath expansion attempted to further build on these consequences, but didn't quite do the premise justice. It did not do justice, in my opinion, wasting people time. Otherwise, it was an excellent return of returning Kerry Takawa as Shang Tsung. I enjoyed that. The 3-hour add-on goes a lot of places in this brief runtime, but ends in an unsatisfying fashion as the series lead, which is Liu Kang by the way, attains literal godhood and becomes a thunder god. Raiden reverts to his human form. It's a move that never made much sense for the characters or the central plot. NRS was just doing things in Mortal Kombat 11, but left things open enough to fix it, which is good. It's all about a fix. With the final shot of the series to date being when Liu Kang travels back in time to meet the Great Kung Lao, the first person chose to fight for Earthrealm to battle against the forces of Outworld. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. With the sands of time appearing to be in play again, the time is right to take a back to the basics approach that solely focuses on the core Mortal Kombat cast. Mortal Kombat 11, for all of its visuals, it looked good, but it felt slow and stiff in comparison to previous games, aka its predecessors. With that being the main issue, being the game speed and the bloating of juggling over 35 combatants, which is more than we saw from both of the two previous games, might I add, even when factoring in its titles DLCs. Quality over quantity really is the name of the game here. It's the story I'm trying to paint for y'all. Sometimes less is more, as a more deliberate roster means more care and focus can be played on making everyone play in a unique fashion with new inputs and animations. If done right, this return to form could rival the upcoming Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. The story of Mortal Kombat 12 needs to be one with a solid through line so that the plot can actually make sense and be concise enough to be enjoyable from start to finish for once. Nobody's expecting award-winning writing here, but consistency is key. Now, if Mortal Kombat 12 can scale things back and focus on what makes the franchise so beloved in the first place, then there's a real chance it could do well for itself, even in a very competitive year for fighting games. A smaller roster of characters with more time to shine, and a simpler story that lives up to the franchise's lore, and a return to the more redefined old gameplay of Mortal Kombat 2011 reboots mixed with a little bit of Mortal Kombat X could make one tough video game to beat. Those are my thoughts and opinions as to why that teaser was deeper than you thought. So I want to pass this question off to you guys in the comment section below. How do you feel about my speculation, my thoughts, my opinions on NRS needing to restart the entire game from the beginning? It's a fresh, clean slate as far as I'm concerned. Would you say that's something that's needed for this game? I definitely think so, because the reason why we couldn't get characters like Serena or Kai or any of those is because they only picked characters that matched the story that they were trying to tell at the time. That makes sense because you want to focus on your main characters, right? So that made so much sense for them to do that. But my thing is, now that there is no story and it's being written from scratch with new lore and some what's that word I'm looking for? Some retcon for previous characters, this allowed them to write the story that they want to write, which means any character is liable to come back at this point. So for me, I'm actually excited. That trailer gave me a sigh of relief, because it's showing me that NRS is attempting to step up to make things right and to make this game enjoyable the way that it needs to be. So that's my biggest concern. And the fighting mechanics, mixing MK9 with MKX is the best thing that you can do. Also, bringing back the run button. Let Mortal Kombat be Mortal Kombat. We don't want no slow, heavy, sluggish game to where we can't run to do whatever it is we want to do because you want to appease a certain type of audience. No. Let Mortal Kombat be Mortal Kombat. Let it be what we fell in love for, is my point. If you can let it be the thing that we fell in love with, I guarantee you the game is going to sell like hotcakes. There was no need for them to include two endings in Mortal Kombat 11 unless they were going to do something with it, which they are going to do something with it. They did it for a reason. We're getting two timelines that's going to completely merge because all of time is broken. So the story picks up directly after MK11, and Shang Tsung's ending allows us to introduce new characters or to reintroduce characters like Hotaru, Havoc, the Order Realm, and the Chaos Realm. So it's great that they did that. And then on Liu Kang's side, it allows us to introduce new fighters through the tournament, because Liu Kang is literally going around to find protectors to fight off Outworld, or to fight, Titans, or whatever the case may be. So I want to pass this question off to you guys in the comment section below. What do you think of this? Let me know. I will be responding to your comments, and the best comment just might get featured in the next video. See you guys tonight. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like the video.